The greatest gift of my life is my Catholic Christian faith. Second to that is my beautiful wife and my 5 children. And shortly after that is my father, who is it's a miracle that he's here today, my mother, and my 7 siblings. Right after that comes the greatest blessing in my life is being a Kansas City Royal. When I was 17 years old, when I signed to be a Royal, I never dreamt that this day would happen. I thought, man, I'm going to give it everything I can, maybe play a couple years of minor league ball just to say I can be like my dad. Because my dad was a minor league ball player with the California Angels. And when my mother became pregnant with the first of the 8 children, he hung up his dreams to go back home and drive a beer truck to provide for my mom and my children and us 8 kids. And I thought, man, growing up, I just want to be like my dad. I want to go out and play a little pro ball like my dad did, probably fall on my face after the first couple of years, and I can go home and hang my hat on the wall and say, you know what, I was like my dad. I got to play some pro ball. And I never dreamt that this day would happen. It wasn't until my first big league camp of 1995 when I went to Major League Camp in Baseball City, and that's when the lights clicked for me. I'm dressing with guys like Wally Joyner, and I'm doing catching drills with guys like Lance Parrish, Pat Borders, Brent Main, Mike McFarland, and I'm thinking, man, I had these guys as baseball cards, and I get to share a locker room with them, and I'll never forget it. Before that first day of spring training in 1995, I had these guys as superheroes, wearing a cape and a tight suit. But after that first day in camp, I thought, man, I'm just as strong as these guys are. We hit batting practice. I could hit just as good or better than those guys. We were throwing the balls down to second base, and although I threw a couple into center field as a catcher, I could throw like them. And I thought, man, what's the difference between a kid like me that played A-ball last year and a guy like Lance Parrish or Pat Borders or Brent Main or Mike McFarland? And it's right here. And I went down to that minor league season that year with the mental edge of saying, you know what, I can be a big leaguer. And every day I worked harder than anybody else on my team. At least that was my goal. And that September, I became a Kansas City Royal. But still, that day I never dreamt that I would be a Hall of Famer. In the same way that I looked at those catchers my first day of big league camp, I looked at guys like Frank White and George Brett and Dan Quisenberry and Art Stewart and the Kaufmans and you name it, Amos Otis. I had them way up here. And I thought, man, they wear a cape and a tight suit, and man, they're royalty. And I'm just a backup catcher. But obviously, God had other plans for me. He brought some great friends along my side. That really encouraged me and pushed me not only to be a better man, but a better ball player. And when you do that for 13 years in one place, the very, very few get selected to be a Hall of Famer. And it's still hard for me to believe that I'm it. But today is going to be really one of the greatest days of my life. I mean,